Hey y'all, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing another Makeup 101 and we're going to be doing doe eyes. Now for those of y'all that don't know what a doe eye is it actually when you're talking about a person having doe eyes, it refers to a young woman that has very large, round, big, open, brown eyes. So think Disney princess, kind of like Disney princess eyes, but especially like Jasmine kind of eyes. Now, when we're talking about doe eyes as in makeup application, it is a very specific technique of applying shadows and liners to create a very open, lifted and round eye. Now you can see here that the shadow application is fairly simple. There's a slight wink and then there is white and black liner on the lower part of the eye to make the eye down here look round. There are things that are applied here to make the eye look lifted, and that creates what people would call a doe eye. Now, these are very helpful for those of us that do have smaller eyes, or perhaps your eyes are a little close together, or if you really would just like to master a very simple and basic eye look that can actually be dressed up quite a lot or dressed down. The great thing about these doe eyes is that while they are typically done in browns, because brown is such a wonderful neutral and almost anyone can find some shade to go on their skin well, they can be done with any color that you want. And you can go crazy and do super bright colors. You can do the neutrals like I've done today. Also, true to all of my 101 videos, I go hog wild with this and go like as intense and do every single step that you would do when you do these. And then that way y'all can decide, you know, you can just do the eye look, you can just do the under eye, you know, you can kind of decide what you want to do. But I feel like it's better to teach you if I'm doing the whole thing and then you decide what you want to do with it. Now it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, and I have been trying to film this video since 1 o'clock. This makeup has been on since about 10 o'clock this morning. So the white you can see has gone a little gray on me, and that's basically because my eye pencil that I used for this is not the best pencil in the world. So you'll have to kind of forgive how this looks, but it's just been one thing after another today. So my husband is outside with the kids and my son will be home from school any minute now. So hopefully everyone stays outside. Now, like I said, this has been taking me hours. I started filming this earlier and my camera abruptly stopped recording. And so I did get some of this eye started and we will go over that. And it's not anything that, I think that's him. Not that it matters. It's not like it's anything that I can't just talk y'all through. Okay, so I have already, let me scoot you a little bit closer here. Okay, so I have already applied a primer and I put a concealer over it because my primer is clear or white or whatever. And then I set it. Then I applied a black liner on my waterline. I then took, where's my little brush? I then took a gel eyeliner like this, and I put a little bit of liner on my brush, and then I worked this into my upper lash line. And this this, for one thing, frames the eye really nicely. This also helps intensify the black waterline that we just did, but it also helps kind of color the base of the lashes for those of us that have very fair eyelashes, so that when we put our mascara on and the light hits, it's completely black. You're not going to see that little line of blonde. Then I went in with my transition shade, and I use the same brush I always use. I use my Crown Deluxe Pointed Crease brush. I then took from my Chocolate Bonbon palette. You don't have to use this. This is just what I use today. And I used the shade Almond Truffle. I dropped this right before I started filming. So yeah, I did the shade Almond Truffle. I applied it to one side of the brush, flipped it over, and then I applied this all over my my brow, well, my high crease brow bone area. And I flicked it, as you can kind of see, I did flick it up just a little bit. And what that's going to do is basically once we get the shadows, like the crease color over it, it's going to be, and then we do the brow bone color, we're probably not necessarily going to see that exact color, but we will see that shape that was being created with it to help give that lift like we want with Doe Eyes. So now we're going to go on with the actual crease color. And basically the formula for a doe eye is to do a medium dark toned color for the crease, a medium shade for the lid, a white, unless you're super dark and then you want to take it a couple shades darker, shadow on the inner third of the lid, and then on the outer third a very dark shade. And that is what makes it a doe eye. So a lot of y'all probably already do this with your eyeshadow and didn't realize that that's actually what it was. Okay, so for that crease color, I'm going to be taking my Firma 201. Y'all have seen me use this before. And I'm going to be taking the shade Toasted from Elizabeth Mott. This is Pop Goes the Shadow. Let me open this up. This is basically a shimmery taupe. These doe eyes are one of those instances where it is totally okay to use a bunch of shimmers in the crease. Apply it to one side, flip it over, and I'm going to look in my mirror down here because I don't want to pick that up. I can move this some. Okay. And we're just going to apply this all over the crease. Like so. You can concentrate your color on the outer corner. That's absolutely fine. And I want this a little bit darker, so I'm going to add another layer. I think I actually didn't put quite enough shadow on my brush this time because I don't remember doing 2 layers earlier. And just simply like this, just apply this. This is not meant, this is literally like the opposite of a cut crease. There's nothing extreme about this. This is very soft. This is blended, luscious, romantic. That's kind of what comes to mind. Yes, my eyes are luscious. Anyway, I'm so cool, y'all. That's kind of what comes to mind when I think of a doe eye. Okay, now that we have that down, you can see we're going to go in with our lid color, and for that I am using this Hikari cream pigment and mink, excuse me. This is this is like a soft taupe kind of. It's kind of silver. Again, use whatever shades you want. Just make sure that you kind of follow that formula for what tones they are. And I'm going to be using my Marsk flat shader for this. And we are going to be applying an inner corner, well, not even inner corner, the inner lid. So the inner third is going to be a different color. So normally how I'm always talking about make sure you take it all the way in. We're not going to be doing that today because you're going to put the white over it and we want it to be as opaque and bright as possible. So, you know, applying the shadow there too would not look right. And now that that's down, I'm going to wipe this brush off. And then we're going to go to the inner third and do that. And to make this really nice and opaque and really bright, I'm going to be taking my Model & Co. highlighting trio, and I'm going to be using the shade Champagne. And I'm going to take that same brush that I just cleaned off, and I'm just going to get a little bit of that on my brush here, and I'm going to apply it to my inner third. I got too much. Let me wipe that off. And this does not have to be super neat. This actually looks really nice when the colors kind of blur together because we're basically just trying to give the illusion of a very soft, wide, large eye. Okay, now that we have that down, we're going to put some white on top of that. And I'm going to be taking this Ipsy I do it every time, Shining Glam for Ipsy N15 eyeshadow brush. It's a precision shader. It's just not, it's softer, you know, and we're going to be taking a white shade, and I'm going to use from the ABH Ultimate Glow Kit. I'm going to be using, this one's broke too. I have bad luck lately. The shade Snow. This is simply a extremely white, opaque, shimmery shadow, and we're going to put that right on top of that Champagne, that cream. And pull it as far to the inner corner as possible. And you can always, after you've done this, kind of go over this again with that crease color just to like clean up the edges if you're getting like not a nice blend. Now I've wiped this brush off, and I'm going to go right along the center where this meets the cream pigment, the Mink, and just blend that. And I'm going to leave this brush out because I might end up using it again. And then we're going to go on to the outer third. And for that, we're going to be using this Luxie, the sun's really bright, I can't see, 207 medium angled shading brush. It's like this. Can you, there, you can kind of see that. Okay. And we are going to be taking the shade, I think this is called Dark Truffle. Yes, this is Dark Truffle from the Chocolate Bonbon palette. That's nicely. You just lose your good shadow. Who cares? This shade is basically a very, very dark brown, almost black. And we're going to put quite a bit of product on our brush here. And then we're going to hold the brush like this way. Yeah, this way. And go ahead and apply this to the outer third, like so. And I can't see over the dang lash. Let me make sure that matches. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and then you can take the brush and flip it this way and kind of pull it in just a smidge. We don't want to put too dark here because depending on your eye shape, that will actually make your eyes look really small and closed off, and that's not what we want. So this is almost, unless your eyes are quite large, like almost disproportionately large, this is one of those one size fits all almost kind of looks. Man, now I've got this little, there's brother. Brother is home. Okay. That, now we're going to go on to the brows. Now here's the thing about the brows is I actually, when I do these doe eyes to help make my eyes look even bigger, I do my eyebrows a little differently. That's actually why this brow is not done today like it normally is. And so what you would do is normally, y'all have seen me do my eyebrows and you know that I go down. I take my tail down. But when you're doing these doe eyes, another way to really make the eye look like it's moving up and out is to take the tail and kind of go straight out like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all how I do that. So obviously, and this is the Anastasia Brow Pomade in Auburn. And I'm just going to do the front here, you know, business as usual. And then we'll get to the tail and I'll show you, I'll talk you through that. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit more product to my brush. Okay, now we're going to go out this way as opposed to going straight down. See, pull it out. Now this really, for me, this is only difficult when I go to put the pencil over my brows like I normally do. Then I, of course, forget and try to do them the other way. This is not something I do very frequently. This is something that I'll do if I'm really going to take the time to do my makeup, because I do crazy eye looks and kind of intricate eye looks a lot, but I'm almost on autopilot, I guess you could say, when I do those. But this is something that requires me to stop and think, because there are a lot of things in this look that are a departure from what I would typically do. Now we're going to carve out the brow and subsequently highlight the brow bone, and I'm using the same thing, the Wet n Wild dual ended contour stick in the highlight end, and I'm just going to draw this on. I love this because it is very rare for me to find one of these dual ended sticks like this that the highlight shade is an actual highlight and not flesh toned concealer on me. I mean, that is definitely a highlight, and that does not happen often. I am so fair. Then I'm going to take my clean concealer brush, and I'm just going to blend this in. And then we're going to go on to, I need to glue this. This thing's falling apart. Or just buy a new one. Imagine that. New stuff. And then we'll go on to the actual brow bone color. Okay, now we're going to highlight the brow bone. I'm going to use the same brush I always use, and that's this Crown Deluxe, no, not Deluxe, this Shadow Crease Duet. We're going to use the shadow side, and we're going to take the shade that's destroyed here, Divinity. This is just a plain old, very pretty, creamy, light white. This does not have to be as bright white as that the inner portion of the lid that we did. You can use this a little bit more subtle, if you will, and make sure it always comes down and we pull and it's nice and seamless. Now I'm going to take the same brush I just cleaned it off, and we're going to go in with the shade Cafe LA. which is I got little pieces going everywhere. I'm sorry, y'all. It's like a slightly pink, very soft champagne color. Now, to highlight when you're doing a doe eye, because remember, we want to make the eye look large, round, open, and lifted. I keep doing the you want to place this in a very specific way. You're going to take this and apply it right. Put your brush right where your crease is, or your arch for your eyebrow, and then pull the color back just a little bit. My guide for this is basically putting it right where my brow ring starts, but I know obviously not everyone has that. So basically in the area that your high arch kind of covers. And then you can wipe the brush off and you can kind of blend a little bit if you need to. Now we're going to do the brow where we fill it in. You don't have to do this, of course. This is just something I do. If you haven't seen any of my other videos before, I do this because I get shadow on my brow, my eyebrow, and I just don't like the way it looks, and I like super sharp, super clean brows. And this also helps because I have my brow hairs themselves are quite long, probably because of my PCOS, and this kind of helps tamp them down just a little bit. Okay, so I forgot to mention I do have a heavy bake on to help with this, so I didn't have, because normally, you know, I do my eyes first, and I, of course, you know, put a bake on so that we didn't end up with craziness all over my face. So I've just removed that and wiped that off. Now this is what we're left with. I'm going to clean this up some. I had Q-tips. Here it is. Okay, and I'm gonna wet this. There's my water. Okay, sorry. I'm just going to clean up underneath here. This happens a lot when you put a black liner in the waterline, but I don't know if I mentioned it. I'm pretty sure I did, but if I didn't, take a lighter and do like we used to do in high school and light the black liner for just a second, blow on it quickly, and then apply it. That'll help make it look more opaque, but that also makes it more less prone to transfer. And now we're going to take a pencil, and this is the NYC it's a plain kohl pencil in white. Now this is a good pencil, but it's not the best, so I'm going to go back over it in my NYX jumbo pencil, but I will show you how I do this. First, I'm going to matte all of this bottom out here. Now the purpose of this liner that we're doing under here is to make the eye appear rounder. So you're going to start right at the inner corner here and apply this. Basically what we're doing is we're creating a new lower lash line. And then I'm going to go over here to the inner corner and draw a line. And then get to about a third of the way in here. And then to make the line, make it look even rounder, we're going to make it a little bit thicker, like right here underneath our iris. And I'm going to pull on my eye just a bit here. Just a little bit, and then you can pull it back up in here, and this needs to be white as well. Okay, now we're going to leave that at that for just a minute, and we're going to go in with our liquid liner. And this is the Mellow, it's the Precision Pen eyeliner, and I'm not going to be super descriptive with this because we're basically just doing a small wing, and I've shown y'all how to do winged eyeliner and how I do my winged eyeliner. Okay, so we want to pull this in as much as possible. That's really a personal preference, but that's how I like mine. And then I'm going to pull my skin here to tighten this up. Okay, once you've gotten the thickness that you want and it matches, now we're going to put little, for those of y'all that saw my Smoky Eye 101, I will link that over here. We're going to do the same thing, just a little tiny tick, although this one is a little bit bigger. And we want to go more up as opposed to out. And so when you get to the ocular orbit, you're going to start pulling straight and then flick up. And I'm going to stop talking for a second. Okay, and then fill that in. Now, you're going to take your pen And where you applied that white is where this is going to start from, not the inner portion of your eye where you normally would start. You're going to start from where the white is. That's how we're creating that new lower lash line. And then you can fill it in. And there's a little bit of white shadow on it. Oh, that's... No, I guess it's okay. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start lining the lower lash line with this. You can skip this step. You don't have to do it, but it does really complete the look. And just start pulling this underneath where we applied the white. Now, I'm going to stop right here for a minute and go in with my NYX Jumbo pencil and a small brush to make this a lot more opaque, because it's not enough for me. And I'm taking this little tiny e.l.f. defining eye brush because I don't have another liner brush, but that would be much better. And I'm going to kind of apply it to one side, and then I'm going to have to look in this mirror to do this. But basically, you're just going to go, I'm going to go over where I applied the white, so it's more opaque. Okay, now we can go back in with our black. This is getting very long, y'all. I'm sorry. I tried to keep my videos shorter, but... Okay, now we're going to start about right here. Can you see? Yes, you can see. Okay. And line this as well. I do not recommend using a pencil for this or a cream. Use one of these. Unless you have an incredibly steady hand, and you could use one of the brush tips. But you don't want to give yourself extra lines. And the great thing about this is if you mess this up a little bit and it's not absolutely perfect, when you put your bottom lashes on, like your mascara, it will help cover it up some. And I'm going to taper this in just a bit so it meets that inner corner more. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of the Milk pencil to the inner corner, like this. And then I'm going to take Snow with the same little brush, the same e.l.f. brush, and pat on here and get smudges. That's adorable. And then we'll kind of pull in here a little bit. Okay, now let me clean that off and fix this. Now you can apply shadow to your waterline if you make sure that you've gotten off a bunch of the excess. So now what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to put some mascara and some lashes on, and then I will show you how to do the waterline to help prevent as much transfer as possible. Okay, I'm back. As usual, this lash is still wet, so I'm going to try not to mess with it too much. Now, because we have created this new lower lash line here, we're going to do our mascara a little bit differently than I normally would. And normally I would do, I'm going to do a one-on-one video on mascara and lashes. Normally I would do it this way, and I would do my lower lash line before I did my upper lashes to help prevent, you know, little dots and whatnot. But because we've created this new lower lash line, we're going to put this a little bit lower. So basically put your wand about where the new line starts, and just apply a good thick layer there. And that's it. Now close up, it basically just looks nice. It doesn't necessarily make your eye look bigger, but when you sit back, you get this very open kind of look. Now we're going to clean off, just take your dry Q-tip and pull your eye down a bit and clean off where you have any transfer. And I mean, look at that lash. Normally my lashes are the totally last thing that I do, and then I just let them sit for a little while, but for the sake of a video. Okay, we're going to take that same pencil again, and we're going to light it this time. And then put it on. And I'm pulling on my eye way too much. Please don't do that. And just pop that into your waterline. And then there you go. That's it. Now, if you had a better white pencil, a more opaque one, you could make this stand out a lot more if you wanted to. But basically the idea is to visually move make it look like the white of the eye is a little bit further down and that the actual lash line is a little bit further down. Now you could actually skip the white liner part and you could just go straight for you know, putting whatever color lower lash line you want, like liner you want, and just doing it right where we had the black. So you do not have to do it exactly like I did it. There's a bunch of different variations, and you can just simply do the eyeshadow technique that I used. It's really up to you and do whatever you want. So that concludes this. Hopefully I can shave the time down off of this because I hate to have the videos that are, you know, really long, but what are you gonna do, you know? I want to teach you everything. So if you liked this video and you would like to see more of these 101 style tutorials, especially the eyeshadow ones, go ahead and give this a thumbs up. And if you have any requests for these 101 videos, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear from y'all, and I would love to do some requests. Also, if y'all are new here and you have not hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and do that. I try to upload it. I upload at least one video a week. I try to do two. It doesn't always happen, but I do DIYs for your home, and then I also do makeup tutorials that focus more on like 101 styles, at least for the time being. And if you have any questions or comments or whatever, let me know in the comment section down below. And thank y'all so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see y'all later. Bye.